how has technology amplified you in running your production company, NM Productions?
So, I mean, AI isn't something that specifically touches production because we're more facilitators for creative people. So we get given a creative brief and we're told to execute that, whether that be bringing in the directors and the photographers, down to delivering in post-production. But of course, you know, there's the new things that are popping up in the commercial world, which are already prevalent in the film world. For example, virtual production is something I talked to you about when I came in to see you guys. And that seems to be becoming a buzzword in production. And virtual production is incredible, and what it can offer is incredible, and I think it certainly enhances creativity, and as you said, can help with workflows. You know, from a production perspective, it means we don't have to be as boring and say, no, you can't have it because it's dangerous or it's expensive or you've planned 72 sunsets in one day and we've only got one to give you. So it's allowing us from a production perspective to offer up new ways of being flexible with briefs that previously we might not have been able to achieve. It obviously allows for more output as well. You know, again, everything is brief dependent. I think AI and these new emerging technologies are incredible for, as you said, helping with your day-to-day. I mean, ChatGPT, for example, is something that's used in our office for when we're writing things to kind of give us a springboard to jump off of. You know, I think it has to be something that works alongside, you know, human experiences and what that brings to the table, and to be used to, you know, complement and enhance creativity in briefs rather than replace them, I think.
How is the scope in terms of, like, AI is the new technology now that people have in mass adoption, but in terms of from when you started your company to now, how is technology allowed, like virtual worlds and virtual reality? How have you seen things change rapidly?
I think, you know, technology is changing at a rapid rate in this day and age, you know, by comparison to when, you know, you were younger and you had that old Nokia phone, and then you at some point got the iPhone, and, you know, that's a much slower progression I personally felt. I don't know, maybe as an adult I'm more hyper-aware to it. But, you know, I think we are seeing more and more people potentially try and cut corners with technology and AI and virtual production. And I think, again, it's a really incredible tool when it's considered and thought out in an early stage of a brief. You know, and I think we had this conversation earlier. It would be nice for production to work with creative from the outset of the inception of an idea and go, well, this could be done in this way because this is more cost effective, or this will open up more possibilities. For example, I want someone to stand on a roof in Paris, and I'm like, well, that ain't happening, you know, but we can in virtual because we can take it onto a stage, and we're going down to Ari in a few weeks, right? And we can talk about the possibilities and opportunities it opens. So I think, yeah, it's becoming, these things are coming up more and more often. I think the next step is educating creatives and producers on how to best utilize it and maximize its efficiencies without just throwing it at a problem and expecting it to be the solution.
100%, 100%. But a lot more intentional, as Daniel mentioned, being more intentional. Nene, do you have any thoughts or insights? And this goes to Daniel as well, so feel free to jump in whenever. How have you seen it impact your workflow? And not just AI, I'm talking blockchain, virtual reality, whatever new technology has been, and what does that look like moving forward?
I think just to your point, I think for me, coming from an advertising background and an agency background, while AI is a tool, we are now looking at how to use it as opposed to just focusing on the output. Because it's now got to mass adoption, it's just like, oh, what can the AI just spit out? You know, you put in an idea, it just spits it out. We're more of the stance of, okay, how can we use that tool to do something completely different beyond just the output? I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head, but I can't. But that's where we're going with it. How can we use AI to do something that we haven't done before? Yes, the metaverse is right, but can we use it to preserve a language, or can we use it to go to the bottom of the sea to see what it's down there? It's using it in that way that goes beyond just the output and more about being creative with the AI, if that makes sense.
Like a creative co-pilot as such.
Exactly. That's far more articulate than me. Nice.
I guess there are broadly three aspects of a business that can be affected by AI. One is core productivity, so the day-to-day tools that you use, Microsoft and Adobe, they're introducing AI to allow us to do our tasks more effective, more efficiently. The second is how can it accelerate our digital transformation. So in WBP, we use AIs to create content more rapidly, to be able to understand how audiences perceive content, to be able to predict activation. Will this lead to clicks and likes and sales? And also figure out how to push content across the right channels to get in front of people in the right moment. So that's kind of unique to our supply chain. And then AI, the question is, can AI completely disrupt your industry? In the media, marketing, communication industry, it will be completely disrupted by AI. If you're a grocery store, probably less disruptive. And so those are really the three areas. And my job is to remove as much friction from that process as possible, enabling people to do more creative things. So that's really my job, is to get rid of all of that friction, elevating people to use these technologies to materially change people's lives, which I think we can do.
So upskilling is a big thing.
Yeah, and when it comes to upskilling, I think what we found, you've heard the phrase, whatever it is, AI won't take your job, it's somebody that will use AI that will take your job. I don't particularly like that phrase, if I'm honest. But what we found, particularly with our creatives, obviously it's great if you can use these technologies to build stuff. But what we found is, if you can ask really good questions of the AI, then that will differentiate you. So our creatives that understand about art history or photography, like aperture and lighting and camera angles, they're able to ask questions. I will never ever be able to ask questions. They're able to get better answers. So being able to ask good questions from now having a broad set of experience and knowledge in different domains is really means that you can get the most out of these technologies.
Yeah, and I think that's key in terms of people saying, oh, the AI is going to take my job, and it's like, again, if AI is a tool, it doesn't remove the expertise of the person who is using the tool. So if it's like giving a power tool to a 5-year-old and saying, all you have to do is switch it on and off. They can do that, but it doesn't mean they can do the best work with it, because they don't have the expertise behind it. So that's what creatives have now. AI being a tool, but you have the expertise. You have all of this understanding about lighting and culture and community and what you're into and all of that. And that is the expertise that you use, and the tool enhances it.
100%. Raz, did you have a question for them?
Yeah, I wanted to know if you guys have any advice for emerging creatives, whether it be in design or AI or production. What type of advice you would have for them?
Well, in terms of
Any advice for emerging creatives?
Sorry, say that again.
Any advice for emerging creatives trying to break into the industry from your respective fields, whether that's production, AI, illustration and design?
I just wanted to jump on what you were saying, because I love this perspective. And the way that when I speak with young creatives which are concerned about, jobs and as a tool, I think that the best way that I usually try to put it is that it enhances your knowledge and your skills. I also strongly encourage, the way that I put it is to ride the dragon. The dragon is out, the dragon is there, and this is also a new set of skills in terms of prompting and the way, because not only is the skills and the knowledge that you already have, as Daniel was saying, but it's also how to write prompt itself. It's a skill. And the people that successfully not only have the background and the knowledge, but they learn how to implement it within the AI tool. They're already presenting themselves with an advantage. So there are going to be a set of new roles coming up that will prefer very large knowledge of and already coming with a background and knowledge of implementing AI tools within your job. So it's almost like as if we're learning a new software, or if you're learning to learn how to use a new machine or a new camera. They are new tools, but we also need to learn how to implement it as creative. So my biggest advice, which is perhaps applies to everything in life, is just ride the dragon. Take that leap and start to use it, and again, have fun. Of course, I come from more a visual perspective, so I love experimenting with the tools, and experimenting, playing. There is so many results, and there is so much inspiration, and I'm learning so much just by trying, having fun and experimenting, and sometimes just taking an hour of my day and having a deep dive and see what the different results are, and then coming back the next week and slightly changing my process and then compare results. So I start to build my own set of knowledge, which is my own private skills that I can go and share with the world. So that's my biggest encouragement that I can give.